All praise to Yahweh in the name of his Son, Yahweh Shai, in the name of the Holy Spirit. Double honors to my elders, apostles, and the bishops of Great Millstone, otherwise known as GMS, or better known as GMS, also known as the prophets of doom. This is where I have learned this truth, and this is where I am still learning this truth. And also shalom to the remnant and the elect of Israel. Lord willing, I am of that number. We're going to go back into prophecy that we find here in Revelation chapter 13, verse 16 and 17. All right, so let's go ahead and get to it. All right, so it reads, "And he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads, and that no man might buy or sell, save he that had the mark, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name." This again is Revelation chapter 13, verses 16 and 17. All right. This he, okay, is the wicked. All right. This he is Esau, Edom. All right. This he is the self-called and so-called white man. All right. That is ruling the earth right now. Okay. He has the earth in his hand. Okay. To go over this all over again, well, to touch on some of it, I probably won't get to all of it, but does that mean that everyone that looks so-called white is an Edomite? No. Okay. When you go to Deuteronomy, the 28th chapter, starting at verse 15, all right, it lists the consequences of disobedience for Israel. Okay. I'll go ahead and read Deuteronomy 28:15. It says, "But it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy power, to observe to do all his commandments and his statutes, which I command thee this day, that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee." There's also a verse in here that speaks to the curses that are not listed in here. All right, things that aren't listed in here, it will be a curse to us. All right, but up above 15, it lists what would happen if we did take heed. All right, that's likened to the kingdom. All right, that is on its way. All right, but verse 15 all the way down to verse 68. All right, talks about what would befall us or happen to us if we don't take heed. Okay, so within this, let me start at verse. I'll start at I'm sorry, I just got caught up reading. Okay, I'll start at excuse me, all the way down here in verse 64, and sticking with the point. All right, because you can read all this and this, man. Anyway, so if you go down to verse 64, okay, it reads, "And the Lord shall scatter thee." Remember, we're in the consequences of disobedience. All right, it reads, "And the Lord shall scatter thee among all people, from the one end of the earth even unto the other, and there thou shalt serve other gods, which neither thou nor thy fathers have known, even wood and stone." Okay. So we were scattered amongst all nations. All right. So we look like, walk like, and talk like all nations, which is where the trouble is, our walk. When we are amongst other nations and we walk like other nations, that's where the trouble is. And most Israelites this day, okay, don't know who they are. Okay? And even if they do like what they hear, and they do, and it does resonate with them, okay, although they know who they are, they don't want to act accordingly. And that's for most Israelites, especially over here in America, which is Babylon the Great in the scriptures, all right? Also known as the future site of the lake of fire, all right? Because everything over here is going to get burnt up, okay? Except for the elect, the remnant, the 1/3 of Israelites over here in this land are the only people that's going to make it out of here, all right? So we look like all people, okay? Even so-called white people, all right? But with that being said, Esau, Edom is the wicked, okay, the evil one, the self-called and so-called white man. There are no nations called white or black in the scriptures. So you have to go by where prophecy tells you these people are. Where are the Israelites? Check prophecy. Where are the Edomites? Check prophecy. Okay, the same goes throughout. I mean, with any questions, check the prophecy. All right, you have to. The Lord has to gift you with true faith. All right, that you can understand and do the things that He says to do. All right, to study, to read, to become workmen, to run this race. All right, to endure. Okay, so I just want to touch on that part really quick. Also, actually, let's touch on it a little bit more. All right, we said that this He in Revelation 13 and 16, where it says, "And He causeth all." All right, let's go get why we say it is the wicked. If you go to Malachi 1 and verse 4, all right, this is two birds with one stone right here. All right, the wicked, Esau, Edom. Okay, Malachi 1 and 4 reads, "Whereas Edom saith, We are impoverished, but we will return and build the desolate places. Thus saith the Lord of hosts, They shall build, but I will throw down, and they shall call them the border of wickedness, and the people against whom the Lord hath indignation forever." All right. Oh, this is it. So this is Zondervan's Compact Bible Dictionary. Okay, so keep in mind where it read at the end of Malachi 1 and 4, the people against whom the Lord hath indignation forever. And if reading Edom at the top of this verse didn't solidify it, all right, here's a little bit more for you. If you go to Esau, Edom in this Zondervan's Compact Bible Dictionary, this is what it reads. All right, it says Edom, Edomites. It says the nation. It says Edom, Edomites. Then it has red in parentheses. All right, because that color seems to follow them around a lot in these scriptures. Okay, as an identifying trait. Okay, as an identifying marker. All right. Anyway, it says the nation and its people, whom were the descendants of Esau. He founded the country, so his name is equated with Edom. The country was also called Seir or Mount Seir, which was the name of the territory in which the Edomites lived. Okay, and if you read on down, at the end of this entry, or at the bottom of this entry, it reads, Edom figures prominently in the prophetic scriptures as the scene of great future judgments. She is the only neighbor of the Israelites who was not given any promise of mercy from the Most High, all right, which ties to Malachi 1 and 4, the people against whom the Lord hath indignation forever. And again, at the beginning of that verse, it says, "Whereas Edom saith." Okay, we are impoverished, but we will return and build the desolate places. Thus saith the Lord of hosts, they shall build, but I will throw down. Okay, so on and so forth. Also, okay, to show that they have the earth given to their hand. If you go to Job 9 and verse 24, it reads, the earth is given into the hand of the wicked. We just told you who the wicked was. All right. The earth is given into the hand of the wicked. He covereth the faces of the judges thereof. If not, where and who is he? And that is another clue. Okay. Um, the true image of the Messiah, okay, given the description in the scriptures, okay, does not match what Esau Edom has put out here. All right. That is, it looks like a so-called white man, right? Also, if you look at the Last Supper, look at all them people, the, the, the disciples and the Messiah, again, did not look like that. But what do they look like? So-called white people, right? Also, the finger of God, right, in the capital of America. Okay, again, what does that look like? So-called white people. Now, um, so let's go to Daniel 9:4 really quick. Or is it 4? No, it is. It's 4:17. Excuse me. All right, Daniel 4:17. Okay, it reads, this matter is by the decree of the watchers and the demand by the word of the holy ones, to the intent that the living may know that the Most High ruleth in the kingdom of men, and giveth it to whomsoever he will, and setteth up over it the basest of men, which is Esau, Edom. Okay, they have the world not by their own power. They have the world because that's how the Lord set this up. Okay, so let's go back here to Revelation 13:16. So now we know who the he is. Okay, and we should understand by now how this he can cause it all. All right, the he is the ruling system that's in place, the ones who have the dominion right now. Okay, Esau, Edom. Okay, he can cause it all because of this power. He has the earth, so he can push his philosophies, his beliefs, anything to get, anything to accomplish the mission that was stated here in Psalm, the 83rd chapter. Let's go here really quick. Psalm 83. I'm gonna start at verse 2. It says, "For lo, thine enemies make a tumult." Okay, so the Lord's enemies, which in turn are our enemies. Okay, for lo, thine enemies make a tumult, and they that hate thee have lifted up the head. They have taken crafty counsel against thy people, who are the Lord's people, all right, the Israelites, and consulted against thy hidden ones. They have said, come and let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance. All right, this is a part of, these are the beginning formations of their counsel to lie to the world, to keep the world from knowing who the true people are. All right. Psalm 83:5, it says, for they have consulted together with one consent. Who has consulted? All right, the Lord's enemies. And it goes on to list them. All right, I'm only going to read verse down to verse 6, but you can keep reading this chapter. Okay. It says, for they have consulted together with one consent. They are confederate against thee. All right, all these other nations are joined together in this plan. Okay. Psalm 83:6, it says the tabernacles of Edom. Okay, they're listed because they're listed first because they are the head of all things against Israel. Okay. And the Ishmaelites of Moab, which is the Chinese now, and the Hagarenes. Okay. Iranians, I believe. Okay. I believe that's what I've learned. The Hagarenes are the Iranians. Then it goes on to list the rest of the enemies down below. But you can believe that all enemies outside of Israel are our enemies, including in this day, okay, 2/3 of Israel. But the Lord has always left a remnant behind, okay, that believed on Him, okay, that obeyed. All right. So let's go. Let's go back here. So, and he, all right, the ruling class, the beast, causeth all because of their system, all right, their beliefs, their ideals, all right. Christianity being a big part of this, the image of the beast. Okay, that, for example, that is a stronghold, all right. Christianity. So when if you hear that the image of the Messiah, I mean that picture of the Messiah, the fake one, all right, if you hear of that being the image of the beast, that's not what that is. That plays a part in the image, but that's not the image of the beast. All right, the image of the beast, again, are all these philosophies outside of the truth. All right, that draw people away. Okay, so the image, the philosophies, the beliefs, all right, all these things are a part of that image. And when you believe in this image, when you worship the image, all right, you are causing this image to speak, and it spreads all over the place. All right. So again, and he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, and to be more specific about this Esau Edom, the and he. All right, it is the banking families, the top banking families. All right, that head up the system. Okay, and he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads. And if you worship this, if you go after these other beliefs, these other idols, these gods that aren't gods at all, really, okay, you are a part of making this image speak. Okay, you are a part of making this image speak. All right. Of course, they started it. They are the beast. They are the ruling class right now. They are the ones that have the dominion. They are the beast. All right. Um, and their image is their philosophies. All right, are their beliefs, are everything that they push that are outside of the temple. But you, all right, people holding on to this thing is causing the image to speak. All right. So the whole world is wandering after this beast. The whole world is taking a hold on these divinations, this craftiness. All right, and they're holding on to it. All right, instead of even searching after the truth, they believe this what they have been told to be true. All right, they believe what these people have put out here as truth. Again, causing this image to speak, the image of the beast to speak. Now, what else does the beast have? They have the image, all right, but they also have a mark, all right, something that acts as a badge of servitude, all right, something that says, all right, this person has crossed the line to our side. Most definitely has crossed the line to our side. This is our mark, our badge for them. So if you receive this thing, all right, you've received your badge from this beast. You are theirs, all right? And the Lord has something for you, okay? And it's nothing nice. Let me start all over again. My bad. Revelation 13, verses 16 and 17. And he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads, and that no man might buy or sell save he that had the mark, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name. So if you believe in his philosophies, you are caught up in this system. Okay, you're gonna take hold to anything this man puts out here. All right, anything that the image says, hold to this image. All right, you're gonna hold to it. Okay, he's making you make an image to him. All right, and this thing is going to be made mandatory. And what this thing is, we're about to speak about right now. Okay, so this mark of the beast. All right, we know it to be the micro C hip, the RFID C hip. Okay, um, a few examples of this technology. All right, are Neuralink or Elon Musk's brain technology. That's one. Another one is Neurotech. Okay. Another one is Walletmore. WALLETMOR. Okay. You can look up dangerous things, micro C hip. Okay. You got to put that together also. The word micro, the letter C, the word hip. Put all that together. Okay. Go look at these technologies. All right. This is what we're telling you to do. Go look at these technologies because this is what the mark is. You can take note of these companies and these names surrounding it, but these people are known to change names surrounding themselves that point to who they are. All right. So don't worry too much about the names. You can take note of them and go search them out so that you can search out their competitors and see who else, because it's not just the four examples that we gave. All right, it's going to be a worldwide thing. Okay, the push on this is going to be mighty. All right, if you think the push in 2019 going into 2020 was heavy, even 2021. All right, speaking of the years, if you think the push for that thing was heavy, wait till this comes on the scene, man. Like I said, and that no man might buy or sell. How are you going to get clothing, food, and shelter, the essentials for life, right? Outside of the truth. We know our essentials are Yahweh, which is whom the world ignorantly calls God, okay? And Yahweh Shai, which is whom the world ignorantly calls Jesus or Yeshua. All right, these are the essential things that we need for life. All right, we need Yahweh and Yahweh Shai, period, point blank. All right, but if you don't participate in the system, okay, you're going to be messed up anyway because you don't have the Lord. If you're outside of this truth, all right. So they are telling you to choose a side, and so is the Lord. Okay, pick a side, man. And really, it's not up to you, and that's where the fear comes in, man. That's where the deep reverence for what the Lord has been leaving down here. That's where all of this comes into play, because it's not up to you what you want to do. It's not up to me what I'm going to do. It's not what you feel. It's not anything about that. It's what is the Lord going to have you do? Okay, a good clue is, have you been taking heed to his men now? What has his men been telling you about the future and things to come and how to walk in this day? Have you been ignoring it? If you have been ignoring it, do you think that the Lord is going to be like, well, okay, you ignored me this whole time. Now I'm going to let you get away from this micro C hip or get away from this incoming fire, all right, thermonuclear fire. So it wouldn't matter if you knew bushcraft, if you know how to go out there and survive. How you gonna survive missiles, man? Thermonuclear fire is coming. All right, so your survival skills in the wild is not gonna matter. This whole place again is going to be laid flat, made a desert. Okay, so you can put your trust in the creation, which is this man, Esau Edom, the basis of men, right, who thinks he's a god and has a lot of people thinking that he is God, or you can put your hope and faith in Yahweh and Yahweh Shai. All right. So, this is how they're going to cause people to receive this mark. All right. This technology itself is not sin. Okay? It is not sin. The microchip itself is not sin. Okay? The sin is when you receive this thing into your body. All right? Now, how are they going to get people to receive this thing into their body? All right? By things like telling you it's convenient. All right? Things like telling you it'll lead to peace. Things like it'll lead to safety, or it is safe. All right? Things like you can get it. If you don't like it, we can take it right out. All right? That's going to get a lot of people because people are not considering the Lord. All right? They're not considering the Lord. All right? You can do your own due diligence, and you can look at what it says about this thing if you receive it. Go look at just a couple of examples. Look at Revelation 14, verses 9 and 10. Look up Revelation 16, verses 1 and 2. Okay? Nothing nice is coming. It doesn't matter what this man tells you. All right? What the Lord says is going to happen is going to happen. All right? Now, in the meantime, and in between time, okay, they might come up with some snares and traps to get people to feel like they can just take this. All right? Just because it's not made mandatory yet, they're going to make it seem fun, hip. They're going to make it seem like the thing to do. All right, the cool kids, the cool people get this. All right, the ones keeping up with the Joneses get this. The ones that want to be on the cutting edge of technology get this. Okay, they're going to push it so many ways, man. Okay, so what's going to be on this micro C hip? Let's see. If money goes away, all right, which are you seeing rumblings of paper money going away? If you've been paying attention, you definitely have. All right, but when money goes away, where's your money going to go? All right, where's that paper going to go? There's going to be no more paper. You're not going to need your wallet. All right, you're not going to need your phone. Okay, you're not going to need the credit cards because they're going to have money on that micro C hip. Your banking information. All right, your medical data. Okay, maybe even your carbon footprint data. All right, maybe even your social credit score. Have you heard of any of these things? All right, it's time people start paying attention, man. Or maybe it's time for people to get more well rooted into, all right, getting burnt up, all right, becoming fire, fuel for the fire, all right. As for the remnant and the elect, all right, which again, through prophecy, all right, you can get a very good clue on who they are, all right, although we don't know exactly who they are, but that'll humble you, all right, that'll put that fear on you that the Lord is due, okay. All right, it'll make you start walking obedient. If that fear is true, if that faith is true, you'll start being more and more obedient to the best of your ability. Okay, obedient to what? The law, statutes, and commandments. They haven't went anywhere. Okay, they're still here, and the more you walk in them, the more it shows that you love Him and love the ones that are also walking in them. Okay, they don't guarantee salvation, but they do show that you have faith. Okay, all right. So faith without works is dead, right? What works? Okay, all right. That allows you to show that you have faith and not just by your mouth, not just mouthing that you have faith, but actually walking like you have faith. Okay, and His commandments, all right. They're not grievous. They don't take away from life. They add to it. But these beliefs, the image of the beast will tell you, all right, will have you thinking that it's restricting you somehow. All right, that is not good to do His law, statutes, and commandments. Hey, it'll have you thinking that the law, statutes, and commandments are done away with. All right, they'll keep perpetuating that lie because the more that people don't know that, the more they'll walk contrary to the Lord. All right, but this is how He's going to make this mandatory. All right. Everything is going to be on this micro C-hip. All right. This is not a fairy tale. This is real life. All right. Let me check this time really quick. Hold on. All right. Yeah, I'm going to come back and do another. I'm going to do a part 2. Lord willing, I'll be right back to do a part 2. All right. So with that, all praise to Yahweh. In the name of his son, Yahweh Shai. In the name of the Holy Spirit. Again, double honors to my elders, apostles, and the bishops of Great Millstone. This is where I have learned this truth, and this is where I am still learning this truth. And also shalom to the remnant and the elect of Israel. Lord willing, I'm of that number, and Lord willing, we'll see you in the next video. Shalom.